Hey there, and welcome back to the OBM Show. I'm Sarah Noked, founder of OBM School, and today I want to walk you through how I made the leap from my corporate job into running a freelance OBM business, and more importantly, how you can do it too. But before we get into that, if you are OBM curious or side hustling your way through this transition, go right now and grab our OBM starter kit over at obmschool.com/starter. It's totally free and it will give you the exact steps to start positioning your skills and planning your move without quitting your job tomorrow. I'm going to leave all of these resources in the description of this video below. And while you're at it, you can also join our free Facebook group, the Confident OBM Community, where future and current OBMs connect, share resources, ask questions, and cheer each other on. There is no reason to go through this alone. All right, let's talk about how making the escape from corporate really can happen for you. Now, I want to be honest and very transparent with you guys. My transition was not dramatic. I didn't quit and then start building my OBM business. I was practical, and I know you are too, and I actually built my OBM business from my corporate desk. Yes, that's right. I was writing proposals after hours, during hours. I was responding to client emails at my lunch break and maybe during my day. And I was creating standard operating procedures. And also I was working on weekends and I was working in the evening. I was working on my dream business in the margins of my 9-to-5 and every other space in between. If you are already doing this in your own 9-to-5 or corporate job, straddling the side hustle and the 9-to-5, you are not behind. You are just being very strategic about building your business. And I applaud you for that. But if I could go back and change one thing, it would be this. I would have stopped acting like I was starting from scratch because I wasn't. Now, I want to share a framework that we use inside OBM School called the Trust Framework, okay? And this is how you can make your existing transferable skills count. So if you are in a corporate job right now, chances are you're already doing OBM level work. I'm repeating that because you're probably disagreeing with me in your brain. But I want to show you how to look at what you've already been doing through the right lens so that you can be as successful as quickly as possible. And that's why I use what I call the Trust Framework to really help people see their transferable skills. So let's start with the T in trust. That to me stands for team communication. Now, I bet you manage people. I bet you follow up on deadlines. I bet you run meetings. That, my friends, is OBM energy. Now the R, that stands for results and reporting. You might summarize performance, tracking goals, presenting data. That's what we do as online business managers with our key performance indicators, metrics, and dashboards. The U in trust is unsticking systems. And this is such a big one for me because I know that you likely fix broken processes, you build out new workflows, you make suggestions, and that systems-minded thinking as an online business manager is pure gold. Now, the S in the Trust Framework is strategic support. You are probably, no doubt, the go-to person on the team for problem solving, figuring things out, critical thinking. That's what we are doing daily in our day-to-day as online business managers, okay? In our communications with clients, in our ability to put out fires, in our ability to think critically about what needs to happen. And the T at the end of trust is about the time and task management factor. I imagine that you're juggling priorities in your 9-to-5 and making sure that things are getting done. That is core OBM work. So if you're thinking to yourself, I don't have enough experience, I want you to stop right there and know that you actually have the experience. You just haven't packaged it up and made it all pretty yet. So I hope that you are already starting to make some connections with that trust framework on some of these transferable skills that you have and really owning it. The next piece of the corporate transition is really about building your financial runway. Now, I want to talk about money because financial fear is real, and it's often the reason why people stay stuck. So here's a really simple way to build your financial runway. I want you to take some time and calculate that bare minimum monthly number that you need, okay? And I want you to be really honest with yourself. Maybe you pay rent, maybe you have a mortgage, you definitely have groceries, definitely have essentials. You need to also consider that emergency fund, if your car breaks down or, something happens. You need to know what you truly need from a very, very basic level. Then you can reverse engineer your OBM income goal. So if your base is $3,000 a month that you need to be making, and we know that an OBM package is around $1,500 to $2,000 a month at a starting point, then 2 solid clients will get you there. And then you can start building while you are still employed. That's what I did. That is what so many of our students inside of OBM School do. And it's not only smart, but it really does give you that peace of mind, and it takes the panic out of the process. It's not about needing 5 clients overnight, right? It's about starting with proof of concept, that one retainer client that makes it feel real and gets the ball rolling. So I want you to know here and now that you can straddle your corporate job and your business at the same time, and you have to accept the fact that it's probably not going to look pretty and buttoned up, but you don't need a huge freelance portfolio to get started. The next step in making this transition is collecting testimonials from your corporate job and using them to land clients. Now you might be thinking, Sarah, what on earth are you talking about? The things that I do in corporate with my boss, with my colleagues, has no relation to my service offerings. Now I hope already with that trust framework, you're already starting to think about some of the things that you've done in your corporate job that do translate into OBM work, but I want to take it one step further. I want to encourage you to make the connection between the testimonial for your OBM business and recognizing that those testimonials from your corporate job that you're going to get really do speak to your OBM clients. So ask former bosses, former colleagues or peers or project partners to write a few lines about how you work. Better yet, draft these yourself using ChatGPT or AI. It will help you to draft a lovely testimonial and even take on the voice of whatever client that you dealt with in your corporate job or your boss. And I want you to focus on things like leadership, organization, communication, and problem solving. Reframe it for your freelance work. Pull out quotes and use them on your website or in your email correspondence, your proposals, wherever you feel like it is suitable. One line like, she kept everything in our department aligned and handled complex projects with total calm. That is proof. That is proof that you can handle the things that you're going to get, the challenges that you're going to encounter with your OBM clients. Now, don't wait until you've quit to collect those. Start now. Now, I want to show you a little bit about how this plays out in real time because, well, I spent 3 years of my life straddling my corporate job and my freelancer job. I don't want you to be spending a whole lot of time. I want you to be taking the right action, like I said, looking at your transferable skills, gaining those testimonials, starting to build your business from your corporate desk. But I also want to share with you some stories from our OBM School grads that have accomplished this. And we have actually have day in the life videos where I have interviewed these individuals, and I'm going to leave those links in the description below so you can check out our day in the life series. Now, Leangela Aiken, one of our OBM School accreditation grads, she literally sat down with me at the beginning of her OBM journey and confidently listed out her transferable skills. She listed out tools that she used in her corporate job, team members that she led, workflows that she streamlined and improved, and fully own the fact that she was doing a lot of the OBM role in her corporate job. And that to me was a real breath of fresh air because unlike myself, she took ownership of already operating like an OBM in her corporate job. All she needed from us was the framework and the plan, and she stepped into our accreditation program, which is our certification program inside OBM School. It's CPD-Certified. She stepped into that and fully owned the OBM role from day one and now runs a thriving OBM business. But it's not just her who did it the right way. It's also Lindsay Connolly, another OBM I interviewed. You can find her day in the life video below in the description. Lindsay was working full-time. She wasn't coming from the nonprofit world. She was coming from the fashion and design side of things with a high pace corporate job in fashion in New York. And so when she wanted to make the transition into being an OBM, it was after relocating to Belgium, and she realized that she had those transferable skills. And she signed her first client while still being employed. She waited until she had the right financial and emotional stability, and now she has a thriving business and earns more than she did when she was working full-time. And the common thread of these women, of these online business managers, is that they took ownership of their transferable skills. So, obviously you need a financial roadmap. Obviously you need to put the time and effort in. But I think the thing that I want to really, really scream from the rooftop here is that you're not starting from some arbitrary square one and thus need to start in some admin arbitrary square one role. You can start as an online business manager straight out of corporate. This isn't hype. This is what happens when you build before you leap. So here's what I want you to do next. If you feel like you are in that in-between space, craving the freedom, but still clocking into your 9 to 5, here's your action plan. Download that OBM starter kit over at obmschool.com/starter. This is gonna walk you through the exact steps to assess your skills, set up your business, and start freelancing the smart way. Join our confident OBM community. This is going to surround you with the people who get it, like-minded, where we ask questions, we share information, you get support, you grow faster. Explore our OBM Accelerator. This is our signature OBM School program for building your OBM business. This is about proof of concept. This is while you are still employed, you craft your offer, you learn how to land clients, and you start building real momentum. Many of our students in their corporate jobs use this program to prove to themselves that they can do this before they even start thinking about getting accredited or joining us in our high-level CPD-Certified certification program. If this video gave you a boost, gave you some clarity, or even just a moment of, hey, I could do this, hit that like button, drop me a comment below. I would love to hear your story, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss what's next. You don't have to leap off a cliff to create freedom. You just have to take the next step. And when you're ready, I'll be here cheering you on the whole way. See you in our next video.